So, welcome to the Collector Car Podcast. I'm very excited about this episode because I have a lot of questions about this, and I'm sure you do too if you're a classic car or collector car owner. So, I'd like to welcome Grace Ulvin. Grace, how you doing today?
Good, Greg. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is really an interesting conversation because, well, a couple of things. You reached out to me. I want to be transparent about that to possibly sponsor the podcast, which I appreciate. And you're our new sponsor for a little while.
Yeah.
And it's all about collector cars. And you help folks save money through registering their cars in Montana. Is that correct?
Yep, that's right. Because Montana's a sales tax free state. So we're able to help people take advantage of the no sales tax.
Okay. Yeah. And if you're joining on YouTube, I do have their homepage pulled up. The company is called LLC TLC. Simple to remember. And we'll go into a little bit more here. But when we had our initial conversation, it was really about being a sponsor of the podcast. And, I just thought it was such a fascinating topic. I said, well, I think we should make this an episode because I have a lot of questions. And I know my listeners will too. And for my listeners, if you go back on my Instagram feed 2 years to Cavallino Classic, I took a picture of a bunch of Montana tags on Ferraris at the big Ferrari show. And I said, who knew there were so many Ferraris in Montana? And you had when I mentioned that to you, you had a funny comment. You said, there's no Ferraris in Montana, right?
Yeah, you'll never see one.
Yeah. That's so interesting. So if you would, could you walk us through? I'll stop sharing my screen here. If you could you walk us through what LLC TLC does, the service you offer, and basically, how people can get involved if they want to know more. And I know you have a couple different packages available right now. And then once you kind of give us an overview of everything, I'll ask some questions. I did ask my listeners for some questions, so I've got some, and I have my
Awesome.
own, but I'm sure you'll answer like 98% of them right off the bat. So
Yeah, that sounds great. So we are a Montana registered agent, and we specifically form LLCs for individuals who live outside of the state and want to register vehicles under their Montana LLC to take advantage of our no sales tax. We also have no emissions tests. We have no vehicle inspections, and then kind of a niche that maybe is unexpected is that side-by-side vehicles are street legal in Montana. So we also have a lot of customers who register their side-by-side so that they can ride street legal wherever they live. So what we do for our clients is really full service. They come to us and say, I heard about this, or my friend has done it. And we say, great. And so then we file their LLC with Secretary of State. We help them get their vehicles registered. And then Montana does require LLCs to file annual reports every year. And so then we also do that for our clients. So it's really a full service operation from our end. We're here to just help people, take advantage of those tax savings. A lot of RVers, a lot of classic cars, a lot of luxury cars. So we have a wide variety of clients who use us for their various vehicles.
So a side by side, that would be like an ATV. Is that
Yeah,
right?
ATVs, quadricycles, the ATVs that have like the kind of roll cage on top
Sure,
is,
sure.
a lot of, you'll see them in Utah a lot, or Arizona, a lot of those desert places where
Right.
people ride.
Okay. And so I know like the first thing I would say is, setting up an LLC, that sounds complex. It sounds like that's a lot of work. I know because I set one up for my podcast. It's not a big deal, actually. It's like, I don't know, if you do it yourself, it's like $125 and that's about it. You just have to come up with the name.
Yep.
So is it that simple of a process using your service as well? And do you have to come up with your own like LLC name?
Yeah, so our clients have to come up with a unique name, and sometimes that's one of the harder parts is finding a name that's not already taken. But we help clients, figure that out, and we do that all for them with the Secretary of State. Really, where the benefit comes from working with LLC TLC is specific to the vehicle registration. So we represent our clients at the DMV, for instance. So that's like one of the biggest things that we do. Our clients never have to step foot in the state in order to register any vehicles.
Okay. And one thing I heard in the past as well is you had to have a PO box or some
Yeah.
type of address. Is that true or not?
Yeah. So because we are, the registered agent, and our packages vary. So 3 of our packages include a PO box. Our most base level package does not include a PO box. And that's really for clients who say, I'm not going to be sending mail to this LLC. This LLC is not going to be receiving mail. And then in that case, our business address is your address for the LLC. So we are able to forward you your mail. We're your custodian in that way. So you don't have to have that PO box, but you do have to have an address in the state. So some of our clients do have PO boxes and some just use their registered agent's address, which is our business.
Okay. All right. Well, that's
Yeah.
interesting. So the goal in all of this obviously is to save money, and that's state tax money for the most part that is being saved.
Yeah, every state's a little different. So some states have, you have both a state tax and then a county tax as well, or certain county fees that get added onto your vehicle registration and that whole process. So we have a lot of clients in California. We have a lot of clients in Florida, those places who, have higher sales tax rates, or who have counties who have maybe like exorbitant sales tax rates. So varies state by state, but yeah, ultimately a lot of our clients are using us to save on that sales tax. Because in Montana, it seems strange, but truly there's no sales tax. And then we take care of any county taxes that would potentially be incurred just by registering in counties that don't have those taxes.
Wow. Okay. So
Yep.
sounds like you handle some complex stuff on your end as needed, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Okay. So now in our previous conversation, it sounded like not all 50 states play ball necessarily. Is that true?
Yeah, there are a few states that don't like us very much, and rightfully so. But people who call us with those questions, we're just able to answer that with them. We're very transparent with people who call. Some that off the top, Georgia is one that is difficult. Arizona is another one that's difficult. Ohio is difficult. And where a lot of that comes in is with use tax. So certain states have use tax. So if you have we call them a daily driver. So the car that you use to commute to work or that you primarily drive, there are certain states where we would say you're going to want to look into your state use tax, and you may not want to put this under your LLC. With something like a classic car that you're driving maybe less often, or you're driving it to shows, or more to meetups and things like that, just for enjoyment and not on a daily basis. Sometimes I shouldn't say sometimes, it's much easier to get around the use tax in that case, because
Sure.
odds are that's not going to flag for someone.
Right. Right. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. And I want to kind of, ballpark some of the cost savings. And so
Yeah.
let me pull up, get my mouse here to work again. Let me pull up see if I can do this in a brilliant way. I want to pull up your screen again. And so what I noticed, which I thought was pretty cool, you have let's see, you have this nice little tax saving calculator over here.
Yep.
And so you could put in your tax price, or your vehicle price. I'm just going to make it easy, $100,000.
Yep.
And, in my area, which is in Ohio, I believe it's a 6% tax rate. So I can slide this baby up. So potential savings, $6,000. And so that's what you're factoring in when you're looking at your package prices, correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Okay. And so I'm just curious, while I have this pulled up, I'm going to run to your package and pricing here. So you have a summer sale. This is so foreign to me. I didn't realize, hey, we got bundled packages on Montana
Yep.
tags. I had no idea this was a thing. So let me just go over these, and I might ask you a couple questions here. So you show,
Yep.
I see 4 packages. Sounds like the Ruby package is the basic, $100 off. Now this costs $1,200, $1,195. And so on that $6,000 tax bill, yes, you would have to pay about $1,200 for the service, but you would be saving the other $4,800. Is that correct?
Yep, that's right. So, and all of our packages include the LLC setup and then at least one vehicle. And then our diamond package does include multiple vehicles or a luxury vehicle. And then if you want to register additional vehicles, we have just flat rate fees for those vehicles. Standard vehicles are $545. And then we also do like trailers, snowmobiles, quadricycles, motorcycles at $475. So, once you actually purchase your package. So then if you think about that and you go buy another $100,000 car and you already have a package, then you're saving $5,500,
Right. Yeah. And I was about to make the comment, well, can you really save on a motorcycle? But I'm like, heck, motorcycles are 26 grand.
Yeah.
They're a lot more expensive than when I had my $6,000 motorcycle.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. And then, so what qualifies as a luxury vehicle? Is that like 100 grand and over, 250 grand and over?
Yeah, it's 350 grand and over.
Okay. All right.
Yep. So if the MSRP, and really where we see that is with certain luxury cars and then luxury RVs too. So, and again, we, help clients through that. We're very upfront with everything. So, it's never no one's ever going to get a surprise cost or not know, why they're being charged something.
Sure. So let me just walk through the process here. So let's say, all right, I just bought a 65 Mustang and, say I wanted to go through this process, which I already did register it in Ohio, so I'm not, but just ballpark here. So I would reach out to you. I would say, hey, I want to do such and such package. One of these, the Sapphire has the personal mailbox. What is the armored privacy when you start getting up in your packages here? What does that add to it in the operating agreement?
Yeah, good question. So operating agreements are especially important for those who have multiple members on their LLC. So, some of our clients have multiple members, some it's their family, some it's their friends. So that operating agreement's just another level of insurance and assurance for your LLC. With the armored privacy, so we are also registered agents in New Mexico. And in New Mexico, you do not have to have a personal name attached to your LLC. So if you did not want Greg Stanley attached to, the Car Collector Podcast LLC, what you could do is you register that in New Mexico. So we have then our clients who have armored privacy have a New Mexico LLC, and then their Montana LLC is owned by the New Mexico LLC, so that you get that extra level of privacy where someone is not going to be able to Google and find who the owner of that LLC is. Instead, it's just going to say the Car Collector Podcast New Mexico owns the Car Collector Podcast Montana, for instance. And so that's for our clients who, are concerned about privacy or just really want to keep things, really prefer to keep things private.
Obviously, I just mentioned mine on my podcast, so I'm not worried about the privacy. But that's
we
interesting.
Know.
That's interesting, though, because, it seems like you shouldn't really have to jump through these number of hoops to have a little bit of privacy in your life when it comes to what cars are in your garage. But I guess it is what it is, So to get back to the process here, so I want to sign up with you. I say, hey, you know what? I want the Sapphire package because I want the mailbox, let's say. So I would call you up, I pay you $1,295. What happens then?
Yeah. So within one business day of you purchasing your package, we file your LLC with the Secretary of State.
Okay.
And then some clients are maybe in the process of purchasing a car. Some clients have maybe already purchased it and are ready to register it. And so then the next step is getting us the title work. So that timeline's a little different depending on, each client and where they're at with their purchasing process. But as soon as we get the title work, then your car will be registered and you'll have your plates, or at least temporary plates, within 21 days.
So that's the title work before you sign it over in your, like, it's still, ink is fresh from the previous owner and it hasn't been transitioned, obviously, because the whole transition into my name is what triggers the taxes.
Yes. And so that's where you will have to work with. So if you are like buying with cash, for instance, it's really not a big deal. You just simply say, this is the name that I want on the title, and that name is the name of your LLC.
Okay.
So you would say the Car Collector Podcast is, please put the Car Collector Podcast as the owner of this 65 Mustang, for instance. If you are purchasing through a dealership or financing, then we would want to talk with you, just because some dealerships get a little wigged out. And so we often talk with dealerships on behalf of our clients just to explain, yes, this is legit. Please send it here. This is the name that needs to be on the title work. So, so your personal name is not on the title work for those vehicles going forward. It will always be your LLC name.
Which you own the LLC, so you own the car.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And then you said then you would mail temporary tags, and then when they're available, the Montana tags. Is that correct?
Yep, your Montana plates. So
okay. Now, one thing I just thought of as we're talking about this, what about historic tags? Is that something you guys offer? I know, like my local DMV, I got historic tags for the Mustang because, I said, hey, I'm only driving it 2,500 miles or less a year. And that kept the cost of the tag renewal way down. Is that something you offer?
Yes. So that's another reason Montana actually offers it. They call it permanent registration. So you can get permanent registration on any vehicle that is more than 11 years old. So all classic cars qualify, no matter how much you're going to drive them. We have permanent registration on motorcycles. So that's another reason why, maybe a lower priced item like a motorcycle, people put under their LLC, boats, trailers, and the side-by-sides, ATVs all also have permanent registration. So yes, then with that, as soon as it's registered and you get your tags, there are no annual renewal fees as long as you own that car.
Okay.
Or so I should say, as long as your LLC in Montana owns that car.
Okay. And so I guess my follow-up here is, so I buy the Sapphire package, let's just say, I get my Montana tags. A year from now, is there a subscription fee or something to keep the LLC for you guys to manage it? Is there like an annual fee related to this whole process?
Yep. So for each package has its own annual fee depending on how involved the package is. So, and we put that, if you click on each package, it'll take you to a description of that package and it'll let you know what that annual fee is. I think the Sapphire is like $265 a year or something like that. And that includes, like I said, everything that's listed under the package. So mail forwarding for the whole year, that PO box and getting that set up for you. And then again, it's filing that annual report.
Okay. So that's just another fee you would calculate into, hey, is it worth my time and effort to get my car registered in Montana? Now, some quick math, I would, anything over $100,000, it seems like a no-brainer. Right. Is there a particular like threshold you're seeing, if you hit this dollar amount, this makes all the sense in the world? Or is it people kind of all over the board?
It really is kind of all over the board. Of course, a lot of people have cars that are classic, or expensive. And then a lot of the like motorhomes and campers. But there are some Subarus. There are, a lot of people actually will do trucks, like nicer Chevys. So really, it's like, I would say the most common range is probably 65 plus.
Okay.
Because depending on where you live, if your vehicle's not going to pass an emissions test, then it doesn't necessarily matter what the cost savings
Sure.
is. You're
Yeah.
registering it for a different reason.
You want to get it on the road.
Yeah, and then in addition, you will save some money, on the taxes as well.
So if I did the whatever the fancy package is, right? The
Yeah,
diamond package, is it, and I wanted to have some other folks on that. You said you could have the operating agreement. I guess that's for the emerald and the diamond. Is that like family members? Is that I could have a friend that's registered with the LLC and he could have his cars go through it? Like what exactly, who qualifies, I guess?
anyone. Yeah, it's just like any other kind of LLC. Um, you can have multiple members. We don't ask those questions. The state doesn't ask those questions. It's your LLC. Our job is really just to help you facilitate and make your life easier so that you don't
Sure.
have to worry about it.
Yep.
So there aren't really any certain qualifications on who can or can't be a member, other than the member has to be at least 18 years old.
Okay. All right. Well, I do have some questions, but I think we covered most of them. Is there anything else that you feel like we need to cover before I get to some random questions from listeners?
I don't think so. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you've done a nice job covering everything. All right.
Thank you.
I think most of these we have covered. How much does it cost? Do I have to have a PO box? The answer is no. How often do I have to renew? You don't have to renew, but there is an annual subscription.
Yeah.
Can you cancel at any time? How does that work?
Yeah. At any time you can call us. Some people, like, it's really common, people will buy a nice RV and they'll maybe do their dream retirement trip for a couple years and then they sell their RV and now they, don't have a reason for the LLC. So we just dissolve that for you. There are certain closing fees, minimal closing fees, that we then, help people with. Yeah. So people sell their vehicle or something happens and they're deciding they don't have a need. They can just call us and we just again walk you through that and make sure it gets done.
Okay. And then what about the little sticker for renewal time frame? What's the timing on that?
Yeah. So the month that if your car doesn't have permanent registration, then you're going to have an annual renewal just like any other state. And the cost of that annual renewal depends on the vehicle, how nice it is, how new it is, just, what you're using it for, etc. So what we do is because we're receiving your mail, we receive the notice, and then each month we send out to all our clients who have a vehicle or vehicles renewing that month that, hey, this renewal's coming due.
Right.
Montana makes it really easy and it can all be done online. And then you can just indicate the address that you would like your tag sent to. So no matter where you live, you can just, you just enter your VIN number, renew the tabs, and then they'll send them to you. And then we also offer for a small fee, if people would rather we just do it for them and have the DMV mail it, then we offer that service as well.
Okay. So that is something, obviously the first time you'll get the tag with it on it, but then going forward, you still have to pay for that. It's not part of the program because that is an annual thing, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
That goes then to, the state and the counties.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And typically you could do that 1, 2, or 3 years, to save some money, right?
Yeah. I don't know the exact answer to that question.
Okay.
I want to say it's just every year in Montana.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't necessarily have the bundle buying for your renewals.
Sure. Okay. Well, you've answered all my questions except for the last one. So what do I say if I get pulled over with Montana tags and my license is Ohio?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So you get full documentation letting them know that your LLC owns the vehicle. So even though, so you're fully legal. And that's where with the use tax, you would just want to check and see if your state does implement a use tax, because that's the only way they would be able to kind of come at you. So it would never be a legal implication, but there would potentially be a fine that they would say, well,
If you're not using your car per your agreed usage.
right. Yeah, per kind of the agreement. And again, there aren't really that many states right now that are cracking down too hard on it. But you just want to, again, check the use tax. So yeah, so cop pulls you over and they say, you know, why does this have Montana plates if you have an Ohio driver's license? And you just, you know, you can hand them the paperwork and just explain, I have an LLC in Montana and that LLC owns this vehicle.
So is Montana the only state that has no tax like this, that this kind of model set up?
There are a few. Alaska is one. I want to say Delaware also
Really? Okay.
has no sales tax. And there's like one or two more.
Montana is definitely the one that's known, though.
Yeah, well, and that's
world.
part of that is that beyond just the no sales tax is that there really are loose regulations beyond that make it attractive and beneficial, in addition to the no sales tax piece.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being on the podcast. The website is llctlc.com. And is there, I guess, additional contact information you'd like to share?
Yeah. If anyone has questions, I mean, you can, you know, if you fill out our form on the website, someone will be in touch with you ASAP. You can also email info@llctlc.com. And then also that sale that we're running. So we have up to $300 off our packages for the summer. So it's a good time, really, if you've been thinking about it or had heard about it and are interested, it's a good time to start talking to us because you'll have a lot of time to make that buying decision and still save on your package.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, so what does LLC stand for?
Yes.
Obviously LLC. Yeah.
Yeah. Limited liability company, tender loving care. But really,
I thought it was. I just wanted to make sure.
LLC TLC. That's it. That's what you can know us as.
Okay. Well, thanks so much, Grace, for being on the show today.
Yeah. Thanks, Greg. I appreciate it.